Hello, I'm Dave Karger. Thanks for joining me tonight on TCM, where we've been celebrating Richard Pryor in honor of what would have been his 85th birthday. Born in Peoria, Illinois on December 1st, 1940, Pryor endured an extremely rough childhood growing up in brothels owned by his grandmother. His mother was a prostitute, and his father was hardly around, and when he was abusive. From an early age, Pryor learned that humor was a powerful tool for survival. After a brief stint serving in the Army, he focused on building a career as a stand up comic. He worked in a series of nightclubs around the country before landing in New York City in 1963, where he honed his craft amongst other artists performing in Greenwich Village. At first, Pryor modeled his act on other popular black comedians of the era like Bill Cosby, but after a few years, he hit on a style that was unlike anything audiences had ever seen. He was profane and provocative, deeply personal and insightful, and his humor dared to tackle subjects that other comedians typically shied away from. One of those topics was his own long history of drug abuse, which he finally began to kick after a near fatal incident in 1980. By the time he took to the stage to make the film that you're about to see, he had been sober for 7 months. From 1983, it's Richard Pryor, Here and Now. This was Pryor's third concert film for the big screen, and it was recorded on stage in front of a lively audience at the Sanger Theater in New Orleans. In addition to writing the material and performing it, Pryor also served as the film's director. From Columbia Pictures in 1983 and premiering tonight on TCM, this is Richard Pryor, Here and Now. Richard Pryor, Here and Now was Pryor's third stand-up concert feature film and the only one that he directed himself. The film premiered in 1983, at a time when Pryor had rebounded from a near-fatal drug-induced suicide attempt to become one of the biggest box office draws in the country. The same year, he was paid $4 million to co-star in Superman 3. He signed a lucrative 5-year contract with Columbia Pictures, formed his own independent production company, and also co-hosted the Academy Awards, his second time co-hosting after doing it once before in 1977. But just as his remarkable second act was taking off, Pryor received heartbreaking news. He was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 1986. He continued to work as long as he was able to, and in 1995, he gave an Emmy-nominated performance as a guest star on Chicago Hope, playing a patient suffering from MS. In 1998, the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts honored Richard Pryor with the first ever Mark Twain Prize for Humor, where he was celebrated by many of the legendary talents that he inspired, including Chris Rock, Robin Williams, and Whoopi Goldberg. Pryor passed away in 2005, just 9 days after his 65th birthday. Up next, Richard Pryor stars in a fascinating autobiographical film from 1986 that he also wrote, directed, and produced.
Next on TCM, JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling. Then Greased Lightning. And later, You're a Big Boy Now. TCM is old enough to know better tonight.